Thank you very much for the moment. Well, with me here is Helen Thomas, a former advisor to George Osborne. We just heard from Crispin Blunt here, who said if you're going to call a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister, now is the time to do it, before the recess and with the Christmas break in the offing.
Well, the timeline is incredibly tight for anything to happen. Obviously, it's only a matter of weeks before actual Brexit day, let alone the situation we're now in, where there is really no leadership, frankly, on any side for what happens next.
That's the point that Caddy's making, is you can switch the leader, but you still have the same factions who can't get a majority behind any plan to go forward.
Well, you do, although politics is so often about momentum. So I think what each faction is now looking for, understandably, is to start to win people over to their vision of what the outcome should be. I mean, literally anything's up for grabs. You know, by Theresa May saying it's my deal or no Brexit, that's actually emboldened the people on either side of that to try and push to get their outcome. They now see perhaps a way forward that they couldn't have seen before.
I suppose the point is, Cathy, that if you get a new leader, then of course people are more loyal and maybe they fall in behind whoever that leader is and the plan that they have.
Maybe for a brief period of time, right? You still have to deal with some kind of plan that actually people are prepared to sign up with, and I just don't see where that is. We heard Crispin Blunt on the programme just earlier saying, quite frankly, that he wants the prospect of no deal. He wants to crash out. Jacob Rees-Mogg was asked about that earlier today, and he said, well, it'll be fine for business. All of those speculations that it's going to be bad for business. We heard the Treasury before the Brexit referendum saying that it was going to be bad for the UK economy. And do you feel any responsibility, Helen Thomas, for the fact that effectively your forecasts before Brexit are now being cited again for the reason to crash out of the European Union without any kind of deal?
Of course, the difficult part of all of these forecasts is that, unfortunately, to date, the ones that have been brought out there have not come to pass. That doesn't mean that they won't come to pass, but I think we're actually beyond the realm of the far distance now, because it's the next 10 weeks that really count, and it's really the next 4 to 6 weeks that really count. And in terms of which way we go from here, I mean, I spend a lot of time advising business now, and the problem for them is they've got a perfectly awful combination of not knowing what on earth is going to happen next.
So would clarity then, would knowing that we were going to crash out, would that actually ironically be better for business in your experience?
I think...
Is that what you're hearing?
We hear all the time uncertainty is what really causes the problems. Everyone, even in a crisis situation, it is the extent and degree of the crisis that causes the real problems with businesses. Businesses, I run a small business, you have to make decisions based on what is coming out there. So I think, yes, they will be able to manage in some way, shape or form. Everyone has to, but they need to know.
Okay. Helen Thomas, thank you very much for joining us there from Westminster.